9 FM. Live from high atop Monroe Center in downtown Grand Rapids, we're talking about what matters most to you in West Michigan. Join the conversation now at 616-774-2424. That's 616-774-2424. It's West Michigan Live with Justin Barkley on Wood Radio.
Lot to catch up on, boy. The headlines don't ever stop, do they? We got big news in Iran. We got big news back home. And by the way, I think they've arrested up to 4 or 5 people now. Maybe a few more wanted in questioning with the reflecting pool, which this saga, it's comical. And also pretty sad. Tampering with it, we'll talk about that. And some big announcements right here back at home in our own neck of the woods as well.
News, weather, and traffic. And the biggest stories of the day. We're talking about what matters most in West Michigan and beyond. This is the Big Three. Now today's Big Three.
Yeah, the stories that matter most. We'll be talking about these around the water cooler, the dinner table, no matter where you are. Powered by our good friends at Heartland Home Mortgage. Dave Galloway and the team. Ready to help you, whether it's buy, refi, home equity line of credit. In fact, Dave joined us yesterday with a fantastic conversation about the Fed. If you missed it, it's up on a podcast section right now in the iHeartRadio app or wherever you download your podcast. But we dive deep into the new Fed chair, Kevin Warsh, appointed by President Trump, and the transformation he's putting the thing through. And we go a lot deeper than the rates, whether they're going up or down. But what is coming, you won't want to miss. HHMlending.com. Get ahead of it so you can save a little dough today.
Number 1.
Yeah, the stories that matter most. President Trump made the big announcement. We'll talk a little bit more about this in our Tech Talk segment with our good friend Trent Kademi. Affordable iStore, Lake Michigan Drive in Standale. It's quantum computing. In fact, Energy Secretary Chris Wright inside the Oval talking about the importance of what this means and where it's going. The president kind of joking a little bit about a few things as they discuss such a serious...
141 years ago, Albert Einstein, 121 years ago, Albert Einstein published a paper...
Nobody cares.
Good point.
I never go back. And usually they won't catch you, but
published a paper on the photoelectric effect, recognizing the quantum behavior of light, that it came in quanta. 40 years after that, President Trump's uncle, John Trump, was a pioneer in applying light radiation and the reflections of it to develop radar at the MIT Radiation Lab. Critical in D-Day, critical in the end in winning World War II.
And critical in the next phase. What does all of that mean? Help wrap your head around it all and why it could be bigger than AI. Coming up today, a little bit after 9:30.
Number 2.
And it's confirmed the president's saying at least 5 people have been arrested, 5 more being investigated for vandalism inside the reflecting pool. That question coming yesterday during that very same Oval Office
The
meeting.
contractors who did the initial work for the reflecting pool, are they to blame for the current condition, or is it
no,
the vandals?
we had vandalism. No, vandals. We have 100, and we have I think 290, 300-foot slit right through it, probably a box cutter or a knife of some kind. Or we had people lifting up the basic, some of the, it's not a lot of damage, but we'll probably have to let the water out. And
he's saying 10 years or so.
They went in there with a knife. I was just told by the people over at Parks, they have 5 people are arrested and 5 people are under investigation right now.
And then talking about 5-10 years, you could get jail time. The fool around and find out era. I wouldn't want to mess with this. There may be some other solutions to help and keep those folks out of the pool. We'll tell you what that might be anyway. Big news back here at home. President Trump endorsing John James in Michigan's governor's race, praising the West Point grad, combat veteran, and businessman as a strong, quote, America First leader who will fight for economic growth, tax cuts, secure borders, and more. The endorsement could boost James ahead of the August 4th primary. In the meantime, another big announcement yesterday and an endorsement, and that would be Senator and the Minority Leader Eric Nesbitt getting out of that race, throwing his support behind the president as well. All of those stories and more we're going to dig into. There's lots to discuss, but what does it all mean? Let's make sense of it all. Truth, logic, and common sense, that is. More of it coming up, and your chance to join the program as well. You can jump on the phone at 616-774-2424. All right. We want to give you a chance to join in every day when we have these conversations, and that's part of why we do what we do. That's why that iHeartRadio app where you click the microphone button and you sound off may be the easiest way for you. It's almost like leaving a voicemail, or almost like an old answering machine, a phone message on the answering machine. You don't have to talk to anybody. You just talked into the phone, and then we can use your message on the air, especially if it's good. You got a question, you got a comment, you got a concern. Love to give you the opportunity to do just that. Another big story, and this one needs to get mentioned as well. Yesterday, finally, the announcement we've been waiting for, and I think solid news yesterday. Interim Chief, Grand Rapids Police Department, Joe Trigg, was announced as the new chief of police here in the city. And 25 years on the force. He got experience like nobody else, and not taking anything away from the other folks that were looked at in that search. And, maybe you're glad they did the search because you do your due diligence, make sure you get all the details, dot all the I's, cross all the T's, all of that stuff, right? But at the end of the day, I think everyone who looked at this knew that there was no better choice than someone who knew the city, knew the organization of the Grand Rapids Police Department, somebody had come up to the ranks there and can lead them into the future. We've seen he's done a heck of a job as interim already. That big announcement yesterday, of course.
Rapids' next police chief, News 8's Katani Gooch joining us live from GRPD headquarters with the details. Katani.
Yes, Amber, that news coming into the newsroom just moments ago, us finding out that interim Chief Trigg is no longer interim anymore. He is now the chief of the Grand Rapids Police Department. We also know that he served in that interim role for a few months, since about March, when former Chief Eric Winstrom left in March, like I said. And aside from that, he was also serving as the deputy chief, and he has been with the Grand Rapids Police Department for about 25 years serving this community. Also, what happened last week, there was a community meet and greet with the final 4 candidates that were up for this position. Then I got to speak one-on-one with Chief Trigg and ask him a couple of his priorities. What would they be if he was picked? He told me restoring community relations was at the top of his list. And also at that event, City Manager Mark Washington had said that he would be interviewing those final 4 candidates the next day. Those interviews seem to have gone swimmingly, as not even a week later we have the name of our new chief here in Grand Rapids. Mark Washington also said that Chief Trigg rose to the top as far as panelists and community input.
I just think it was obvious. It was absolutely obvious. And we'll pray for him and wish him well in that new and official permanent capacity. The last few chiefs have been sort of driven out of town for various reasons. If you look at why Winstrom left, he said it was a sort of an anti-police sentiment from some in the city. I think these were probably a very vocal minority, but from some in the city. So it was so much so that not only did he take a pay cut to leave, but in fact, I think he refused a raise they were going to give him here as well. So that should tell you everything you need to know about it. And again, we'll wish Joe Trigg well, the new police chief here in Grand Rapids, as he takes on that new role. We got other stories again. This is a massive story again. We've been hearing it all morning long, by the way. This is big. Price of oil continues to fall. Gas prices continue to fall. Next week, they're talking about, in fact, some places you might already be seeing this. You may see a little bit of a rise in price because of the demand, because it's gone down so far. Right now, if I look at the oil, holy smokes. That's the lowest we've seen it in a while. Price per barrel, $73.55 on WTI. Brent is $77.50, around there. And like I said this weekend, I think I filled up for a $3.50 something is what I paid. So people loving the fact that prices have dropped. What are the reasons for that? Especially, and even as we see the negotiations continue with Iran right now. Now, you were told all weekend long that the deal had fallen through, Iran left the table and all the rest of it, because Trump made a threat. And you were told all kinds of things that just weren't true. Not only did we learn yesterday that Vice President Vance was able to secure in the negotiations along with the president, that Iran would allow nuclear inspectors in. They'll be looking to get that dust. But they also told you that they will be unfreezing some of those funds. Those funds, as you've been hearing this morning on the radio and with our news broadcast, will be used to buy food from American farmers. So another win-win. But one that you may not have heard, and one that is equally as important when it comes to the gas prices, oil, etc., is that the Strait of Hormuz is flowing.
Hormuz Strait, we took in more oil yesterday than has ever gone through the strait.
Did you hear that? We took in more oil on Sunday, the very day that the news organizations, Meet the Depressed and the rest of them, are out there telling you the strait's closed. Iran closed the strait. The very day they told you it was closed. More oil flowed through than ever before, according to the president.
You probably see that. We have an oil gusher. The strait is totally open. You know that. And we're negotiating. We'll see how that all goes. But we have two things. We have an open strait, and we have a country that will never have a nuclear weapon. Will never, ever have a nuclear weapon. So now I'd like to invite Michael Kratsios, director of the Office of the Hormuz.
That is amazing. And a stat that is important when you look at why are the prices actually dropping. Chicken Little Skies Falling Black Pillars will tell you one thing: the doom and gloomers are out of touch with reality. The reality is, and it's a story that you may have missed if you weren't listening to us, if you weren't listening to this program or several others, a handful of people telling you that President Trump pulled off this wild caper, one like we've never seen before, taking out hundreds of millions of barrels of oil out of the Strait of Hormuz while the Iranians had no clue it was going on, then you would know why the price of gas is falling. You'd have no idea. But he told you. He told you. He told you why and what he was doing. So keep an eye on it. I'm not saying that it won't maybe jump a little bit, obviously, during the holiday ramp up, but eventually it's gonna come back down, and it may come down even further. Some analysts predict that it could come down into the $2 a gallon range, and some even say by Christmas. It may happen sooner, but that's a heck of a prediction. I'm not going to get the crystal ball out. All I'm telling you is just imagine if those things do happen. Lots to discuss. We'll talk to you, too, coming up in just a moment. You can jump on the phone line anytime. Our good friend Trent Kennedy on the way. Kid Rock's happy today because President Trump endorsed John James for governor. What about you? I've seen lots of back and forth on the internet about this. I'll tell you where I'm at coming up in just a little bit as well. It's West Michigan Live. We're just getting the party started.
It's West Michigan Live with Justin Barkley on News Radio Wood 1300 and 106.9 FM.
Here are your headlines from the Midwesterner this Tuesday, June 23rd. I'm Robin Poffman. The Teamsters endorsing Sheriff Chris Swanson for governor, backing him over Secretary of State Jocelyn Benson in Michigan's Democrat gubernatorial primary. On the Republican ticket, President Trump endorsing John James for governor of Michigan. The president praising his military service, business background, and record in Congress. The president writing on his Truth Social page, a West Point graduate, combat pilot, brave Iraq War vet, and now is a highly respected U.S. congressman. John has proven he has the courage and wisdom to deliver strong results for the incredible people of his wonderful state and our nation. In other news, Michigan State Rep. Matt Maddock calling out Democrats for leveraging Michigan's July 1st education budget deadline to push priorities in state budget negotiations, a tactic Republicans are working to expose this year. Maddock telling the Midwesterner this is a Democrat trick they've been pulling for forever in Michigan. For these stories and more, visit the Midwesterner at themidwesterner.news.
The crown of Independence Day weekend for years has been the Living in Freedom event at New Chapel. Hey, it's Justin Barkley. This year, July 5th, their Freedom Carnival event will be bigger than ever with more thrilling carnival rides, games, giant inflatables, free hot dogs for the family, food trucks, a car show, and giveaways, including kids' bikes, kayaks, a premium shotgun, and so much more. The best part, it's all free. Fun for the whole family. A quarter mile west of Alpine on 4 Mile. Living in Freedom, July 5th. Get all the details at newchapel.com/freedom.
AI is taking.
All right, folks, welcome in. Thank you so much for taking the time to be here with us today. We appreciate you, as always. Gas prices jumping. All of the things that I'm seeing reported in the my neck of woods has jumped up to like $4.29 a gallon. We're around my place. We had a call about this, so we'll talk about that coming up. So why is that? Partly what we just told you about the rise in demand and what that means coming up here in just a little bit. Stand by for news. All right. Let me put this down here. I got to say good morning to a few folks who are watching on the behind-the-scenes live stream this morning. We appreciate you, as always. The VIPs and the Freedom Fam, Mando, Mark, Hemi, good to see you. Panda, thank you so much. Schrucker, good to see you. Did I say Hemi? I said it again. Deanne, good to see you as well. Sharon and so many others on the VIP this morning. Also on Rumble. Thank you, Rumblers, for hanging out with us. Duga. 1769. Gary, good to see you. Beasley, L. Waldron, Judy, over on the book. We thank those folks. Suzanne, Jessica, John, Terry, Sherry, Richard, Sean, Jason, and so many others. Hang on, folks. Back on the air. Thanks to the folks powering the show today and every day from the Good Feet store. Keeping me on my toes with the news and, of course, with my girls. The work or play, it doesn't matter. As a dad, I got to keep up with these girls. 3 and 5, we were hanging out yesterday trying to soak up a little sunshine. And, of course, they're always keeping you going. I mean, it's a mile a minute. These two are something else, and I'm so proud of them. Those are the things that matter most. Don't put off the things that matter most any longer. If you're dealing with foot, leg, back issues, you know how that can just be something that stops you dead in your tracks. You don't want to do that anymore. Get back to those things that you put up. Whether it's work or play, you get back to comfort and confidence today when you walk into the Good Feet store. 28th Street, right in front of Costco, or in Westage, in Portage on Westage, in front of Kohl's. The Good Feet store will make sure you get to where you want to go, and God bless them each and every time. We thank the folks from the Good Feet store. All right, let me get to a guy in Grand Rapids with a question. Good morning, Guy. How are you?
Good.
You're live on the air. What can we do for you?
You said yesterday you filled up for $3.57. I checked the price in Hudsonville yesterday. It was $3.57. So I thought I'd fill up there today, and it's 425.
And they got you.
And I just
Yeah.
went by Hastings this morning. It was 429.
Yeah.
And I'm on my way down 131 in Wayland. It's 429. I just wonder what the 70-cent increase was.
I'm not seeing anything lower than 425 on the little screen that I'm looking at right. There is one that says 389, but that says 16 hours ago. So I don't know that I would trust. I'm looking at the Gas Buddy thing.
But oil only changed 17 cents yesterday.
Yeah, no, what we're hearing, and the news have been reporting it all morning, what they're saying is that this is the demand for the July 4th weekend. Now, the other thing is, I don't know. We do this 60-cent back and forth. This is the most frustrating thing about living in West Michigan and Michigan, period. But we do this 60-cent back and forth swing. So they shoot prices up so they can take a little bit of profit. Then they bring them down, and they don't make much money at all when they bring them down. And that's when I filled up this week, and it's probably what, when you saw that price too. So that's the cycle we're in. It's a 60-cent swing. Roughly around that point, and I know it's just as frustrating, and it probably maybe the next week or so we'll see it go up even more. But psychologically,
the price has gone up.
Yeah,
2 weeks ahead of the holiday.
I think what you'll see, and I could be wrong, but they'll take the swing now. Then next week the prices will come down a little bit.
I don't understand the swing of going up. We're down $17 a barrel from 30 days ago.
Yeah, I know, but you're still down 70 cents. Even at 429, you're still down 70 cents from where we were back when the price of barrel was up. I know it's frustrating. Trust me, I get it. It is so frustrating, guy. Thank you so much for calling in. Thank you for the question. I feel the same thing too, but it is psychological more than anything when we watch those prices go. If you go from 3-something to 429, you're like, gosh, what the heck happened? So hopefully that explains it. I understand I feel the same way. I look at the same, and thankfully I just timed it out and I was able to fill up too. But this is something we're not strangers to in Michigan. I think we just see it now more than ever because we're so sensitive looking at it. More in the news. Dave will have the latest. Bottom of the hour. Back after this. Tech Tuesday. Our good friend Trent Kennedy talking quantum computing and where the country is headed. May even be bigger than AI next. Hang out, folks. All right, hang on there, folks. It's not price gouging, Sean, because they do it all the time. Price gouging, what you don't understand is, and this will help paint the picture. When the price is, like when I filled up at $3.50 something, they're not making money. They're selling the gas at even or maybe even at a loss. And I'll give you a great example of why, like how some of this is happening. Like yesterday, it's crazy. I looked at Sam's Club, Costco prices were the same as what the regular gas station was around me. This is usually it's 30 cents cheaper at Sam's or Costco. So when they're selling it at a loss, what they're trying to do, because they make money from you coming into the convenience store. I think they make more money at the convenience store than they do at the pump. And also remember, like if there's a bunch of stations in one place, Speedway sets the price. I know this is hard to get. I know this is hard to understand, but the Speedway, because it's so big, that company now, I think it's 7-Eleven that owns them, they set the price. And where they go, because again, if you're Speedway or 7-Eleven, you're making more money when people come in and buy your hot dogs or your cold pop, whatever it might be. That's where you're making your money at. Sean filled up for $3.53 on Sunday. That's nice. So 60 cents times 20 gallons. Is that $12? I don't know why I'm having a little bit of a brain fart. I'm going to have AI do my calculator on my phone. I was right. $12. So it's a $12 difference on the fill up. Now that isn't the end of the world, but it's, I think psychologically it's worse when you see something go from 350 or 360 or 370. That's where around the back it was for most to 429. That makes you go, what? You could probably take 405, 410 for something like that. Well, you start getting 420s, 430 essentially is what that is. Psychologically, that makes you go, we're getting ripped off here. So I hope I explained that. It doesn't make it any better, especially when you feel that way about it already. It doesn't make it any easier. I hope I explained it so that people can understand it. But essentially, it's 7-Eleven, Speedway, that company. They set the prices, and what they go at is usually what all the other gas stations around them hit at. And again, I'm going to say this. I know this is going to be popular, but $4.29 is still 70 cents cheaper than $4.99, what it was like a month ago or whatever. It's still a big discount. I'm headed down to Indiana this weekend. I'll let you know. What the prices are down there and if we're on par. Hey, let's test with Trent real quick to make sure he looks good, sounds good. Good morning, Trent. Can it be? I can see you looking good.
Morning, Justin. Loud and clear.
Fantastic. We're going to talk. Look at Sherry says, I'm on the Indiana line, so I'm enjoying the no gas day. What's the difference, Sherry, where you are? What is the difference? How much are you paying in Indiana? Richard says he's paying $2.89. What? Dude, that's enough to make me want to pull up stakes and move. I am a Hoosier. I'm from. Yeah, I think gas goes down again, too. I think you're going to see it drop even further, but I don't know. Booyah, good to see you. Thank you guys so much. All right, Trent, hang on 1 second. We're going to be back live with you here in just a moment. We got about a minute left into Take Extra Gas Cans. Bunny, I ought to take a tanker with me. I ought to take a tanker while I go down there. The average Michigan gas price right now, according to Gas Buddy, is $4.12. Now, $4.95. Let's see, $4.9503. It's $4.29, $4.20. Lots of prices being reported at $4.29. Looks like everyone took it. I think it may go down next week. If I think through like the business psychology, I think they might bring it down a little bit next week, and that'll make you drive more because you're thinking, oh, gas prices went down. I can drive. They're going to take their big $4.29 now before people get out on the road. And when gas prices go down, they'll be more likely to come inside and buy their ho-hos and the rest of the stuff. That's just what how I see it. Now, I could be wrong. Hang on, folks. Back on the air.
373-3000. Advisory services offered through Talon Private Wealth LLC and SEC registered investment advisor.
Hey, it's Glenn Beck, and you're listening to West Michigan Live with our good friend Justin Barclay. The Glenn Beck program coming up at 10 on Wood Radio.
All right. I was just explaining this off the air, the behind-the-scenes live stream. Facebook, Twitter, X, Rumble, Getter, Locals, YouTube. By the way, I got a trip to Indiana this weekend, and gas prices are like $1 cheaper there. And I'm getting people in the chat telling me, Sherry says lowest she paid was $3.39. She's on the border of Indiana and Michigan, so she just goes across the border for about a buck cheaper. Somebody said $2.89. I don't know if that's real, Richard, but I will look for it. 309, John says in Indiana. I don't know what part he's in. $3, some under $3, he says, in some places. But today you're going to see gas prices. If you haven't already seen it yet, jump to the pump at $4.29. I'll just quickly explain this because I told people off the air, and I'll quickly run through it, and then we'll get into tech talk. So how gas works in West Michigan and Michigan is all of the prices are essentially set by Speedway or 7-Eleven, whoever the company is that owns all of those gas, because they have so many gas stations. They set the market. So whatever price they want to run at is what everybody else sort of adjusts to. Now, they don't make a lot of money on gas. They don't, believe it or not. Where they make their most money is in the convenience store. So when you go in and you buy a hot dog or you buy a cold pop or you buy a ho-ho or whatever it is when you go in and buy stuff, like I like the popcorn at Wesco. That's probably my biggest guilty pleasure, right? So when you go in and whatever you buy in the store, that's where their biggest markup is. That's where they make the biggest money. So they do this thing, this price cycling that they call it, and they'll raise it up 60 cents. Then they'll sort of gradually drop it down until we got to where we were just like the other day where prices were so low. You're like, wow, what happened? So we just saw them bring it up, and all the other gas stations are starting to respond to that. And $4.29, $4.25, that seems to be enough. If you found it cheaper somewhere, let us know. Let us know, because I know Guy was listening. A few other folks probably listening to this went, wait a minute, I was going to fill up today, and they missed. So let us know if you see it. There's some places still cheaper, and we'll get the word out for folks. In the meantime, next week, I don't know. I just have a feeling you may see prices go down just a tick or so. Next week, they may have raised them this week because it's pre-holiday. The next week is the holiday weekend, and they'll have more people on the road. So it's not that they're trying to make more money out of the gas. Maybe they'll bring them down so that they get more people into the stores. That's just my way of thinking. I don't know. And again, just because you know now, just because you know this is what they do, doesn't make it easier. It's still just as frustrating when it comes to some of these, but that just so you can kind of have an understanding of what is going on. You wonder, why can't they just keep it even? Why wouldn't they just keep it somewhere in the middle? It's that price cycling thing that's enough at times to make you just want to rip your hair out. But don't do that. Don't do that. I promise you'll be better off. We'll get through this, and prices, I do believe, are continuing to fall, especially if you look at the price per barrel right now, continuing to fall. All right, Dave says it's $3.52 still at Sam's Club, so there you go. Maybe that's a shot if you got a membership, Sam's Club, Costco. Maybe you still get it cheap.
Hack into the latest in tech and how it affects you and your world. This is Tech Talk Tuesday on Wood Radio's West Michigan Live.
Our good friend Trent Kennedy joining us now with the latest in tech and some of the biggest stories. In fact, we've got a story that may even be bigger than AI. That's how I've been selling it this morning. Trent, welcome in. We appreciate you being here with us today.
Good morning, Justin.
As much as we hear about AI, as much as we hear about the way the world is going, and this is the thing that we're all looking at, and like, where do we go next? It's quantum computing that may actually be the bigger elephant in the room. And Trump signed a big order on quantum computing yesterday. In fact, he kind of joked a little bit about part of this as the announcement was being made with Energy Secretary Chris Wright. I want you guys to hear just a little bit of what he had to say.
Of light, that it came in quanta. 40 years after that, President Trump's uncle, John Trump, was a pioneer in applying light radiation and the reflections of it to develop radar. Radiation lab, critical in D-Day, critical in the end in winning World War II.
But how does it play in when it comes to computing? That's the big question, and one that completely goes over my head. That's why we brought Trent in. Good morning, Trent. Tell us why this thing could be bigger than AI and what the executive order may even mean tomorrow or today.
Yeah, good morning, Justin. Yes, this definitely AI. Justin, I'm going to try to explain quantum computing and how it functions, because it's still a little bit theoretical. But Justin, there's enough research, there's enough models that the government, big business does believe that quantum computing is here soon. And just to keep it really simple, quantum computing is just essentially a supercomputer processor. It takes certain math equations and it can solve them at an efficiency and at a speed that's hundreds of thousands of times greater than our best supercomputers today. So obviously it leapfrogs us in the processing capacity. And the big reasons why this is a big story, Justin, is because there isn't an official quantum computing, the way that they process and solve things. It's a whole new system. It's a whole new process. So his first executive order basically lays the groundwork for using this technology in different government systems. There needs to be a new network infrastructure to support the quantum computing. So it establishes that there's workforce, there's security, there's other things like that. So that's kind of a common sense. Hey, let's lay the foundation for quantum computing at a governmental level, systems, process, networking, infrastructure. The second part, which is most interesting to me, national security, and most other people involved, is cryptographic security. So that's a big word, but simply, Justin, everything that we do online that's secured on our phones, our banking, our social security number, IRS websites, all goes by a encryption standard. 256-bit encryption is kind of the current norm, and basically that allows us to transfer data over the internet without other people deciphering that. Supercomputers can decipher that code, that encryption, pretty much instantaneously as a supercomputer, like a quantum computer, not an existing supercomputer, these new theoretical quantum computers. So if we or somebody else, bad actor, gets a quantum computer up and running, they essentially can have unrestricted access to any data anywhere on the internet, even on private servers, if they grab a physical copy of that. So there is a framework in a second executive order to basically come up with a new security standard that is a higher level of encryption that even a quantum computer is fairly safe. So these are critical future-facing executive orders that basically say, hey, we believe quantum computers is coming, it's here to stay, and we're going to set the groundwork up for this.
In fact, let's do this, because you mentioned cryptographic. Now, that had nothing to do with where I'm going next, but there was an announcement by Google not too long ago that cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, and some, may not be safe because of the advancements they've seen already with the quantum computing they're working on right now. Why? Because they'd be able to break the blockchain. They none of the passwords or anything that we use today, or even that super, the super secure stuff, none of that holds up when it comes to quantum computing. And by the way, that's why it's so important that we actually win that race.
Yeah, Justin, you're right. Cryptocurrency is based on some of the same security standards, bank level encryption. And there's a little bit higher standards that are out there, but not a industry standard like 128 or 256-bit encryption that's been around forever and it's fairly secure. But yes, with AI, with supercomputers now, with quantum computers, all that could be broken. And obviously the bad guys can utilize that. They can steal money. There's no secrets in any government servers. And when everything's cloud-based today, pretty much it means whoever has access to these quantum computers has access to any data out there.
Talk about another wild story that's on the forefront right now. It came out last week. It kind of sort of buried a little bit, but I saw this and that's interesting. The Pentagon used the tech that you even have, maybe not the official version, right? But they used tech that you have at your fingertips to fire missiles at Iran. Elon Musk's Grok AI used to fire missiles at Iran, according to the Pentagon. What the heck's going on here, and how did that work?
So, Justin, the story, the title is a little bit misleading, some good clickbait, but it's sort of true in the sense that the military is actively using tools like Grok to identify targets very quickly in a very actively changing battlefield scenario. They're still having, officers and whoever's in authority sign off on the actual strikes for these targets. But Justin, there's two sides of this. Number one, AI can get something wrong. We all know that. We've all experienced that. And so if AI is identifying a target and it's something that's a school or a church or a hospital or something, that's bad. On the other hand, Justin, if you think of traditional people in a battlefield scenario having to use satellite photos and a whole bunch of physical people to analyze these and identify targets, the opposite can be true too, where the error rate and the effectiveness of using AI to gather those targets could be significantly higher and have a far lower error rate than the traditional method. Obviously, we don't know all that information, but that's the two sides, the scary side, and I guess the potentially good side in a military campaign where AI can track live targets much, much better than any human assets can.
Well, I don't know, man. I hear these stories and I wonder how far we go, and are we going too far with some of these things? I will give you some good news about AI. It's a miraculous story in some ways. Conjoined twins were separated. You know, those two little girls, I believe, Mercy and Goodness were their names, born with their skulls fused together. A successful separation highlights, this story says, the growing role of AI in modern medicine. And what a story it is, Trent. If we can see some really good things like this come out of this type of technology, the world will be a better place. Although, just like any other tool, it's all about the hands that the tool is in.
Justin, this is an incredible story because when we think about AI, how does AI help in surgery? So in this process, AI helped map the entire surgery out for training, for practice. This is an incredibly complex procedure where you're taking heads, your brain, just an impossible surgery. And it basically allows it to be mapped out. And it also allowed it to happen where not only the surgery part, Justin, that's miraculous, but you have their skulls need to be reconstructed. So AI was used to custom route the blood vessels, the nerves, and the size, and then also to account for growth. These are little kids that grow at a phenomenal rate, and it was able to pull that off. So yes, there's amazing uses for AI, Justin, in the medical world, and AI is not always the big, bad, scary. It can be used for very good purposes.
What a miraculous story, and one that I think, again, makes you realize what all might be possible. And again, the importance of folks like us, the United States, being on top of it, in the forefront of this technology. Because again, if it's held in the hands of people that have a moral fabric, a foundation, I think a biblical worldview, boy, amazing things can happen. But we've got to be watchful, don't we? As always, our good friend Trent Kneebe, Affordable Eye Store, Lake Michigan Drive in Standale. And of course, Grand River Tech, making sure that you've got your personal needs at the Affordable Eye Store taken care of. You got a question about your device, right? Your laptop, your iPad, or maybe it's your AI or your entire network. Schools, organizations, businesses, trust the folks at Grand River Tech, grandrivertech.com as always. Thank you, Trent. Appreciate you.
Thanks, Justin. Have a great day.
You too. God bless. More in minutes, folks. We're just getting started. Back to the phones, and of course, some good news as we make it through. We're like a rocket through the fastest hour in radio. Back after this on West Michigan Live.
Breaking down the story. It's West Michigan Live with Justin Barclay on News Radio Wood 1300 and 106.9 FM.
Here are your headlines from the Midwesterner this Tuesday, June 23rd. I'm Robin Hoffman. It's a Midwesterner.news original story. President Trump endorsing Republican John James for governor of Michigan. The president praising his military service, business background, and record in Congress. The president on Truth Social writing, a West Point graduate, combat pilot, brave Iraq War veteran, successful businessman, and job creator, and now as a highly respected U.S. congressman, John has proven he has the courage and wisdom to deliver strong results for the incredible people of his wonderful state and our nation. In other news, Michigan State Representative Matt Maddock is calling out Democrats for leveraging Michigan's July 1st education budget deadline to push their priorities in state budget negotiations, a tactic Republicans are working to expose this year. Everyone needs to know this, Maddock telling the Midwesterner. This is a Democrat trick they've been pulling for forever in Michigan. For these stories and more, visit the Midwesterner at themidwesterner.news.
What's happening in the Middle East right now? All right, folks, welcome back after it. Hey, I forgot to mention it this morning. But the America 250 gear is here and it's flying off the shelves. In fact, I think some of you have already started receiving your teas, mugs, tumblers, and more. Just love to hear from you how you like them. Lots of people are reporting in. We love that. And yes, just in time for America 250, you can still get yours ordered in. I would get them if you want to wear them by the 4th, right? I would get your order in this weekend, by the latest, this weekend. If you want to have it in time for the 4th. That is the way to go. JustinBarclay.com/store. If you want to win yours, definitely jump in right now and click share. Facebook, Twitter, X, Rumble, Getter, Locals, YouTube, you name it. We got so many different places, and we appreciate you sharing the word out. It helps us break the algorithm. It helps us cut through the noise. There's so many things that are happening on a daily basis online, but particularly when it comes to those fun folks on Meta. It just it really is. It really is fun. Oh man. But you never know. Some days they love us, some days not so much. So if you can help us click share, that helps us get the word out about the things that are going on. And man, we couldn't be happier for your help in that scenario. Okay, let me see. We got I think we're in about 3. No? Let me move this because I don't know. And we'll move that one. That looks like it should work. When we come back, we're going to have about 31 to 2 minutes. 2 minutes. 55, 26. We'll have about 2 minutes when we come back. Julianne Bryan, I won a t-shirt the other day, but I don't know how to go about ordering it. Just send me an email, justin@justinbarclay.com, and congratulations. Congrats, Julie. Let me see. I'm going to type it in here so you have it. Boom, 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 boom. Doug says, I may be the oddball in the room, but I kind of like Perry Johnson. Well, President Trump's endorsement yesterday is only going to be part of the equation. There's lots of talk about how it goes. And essentially, the back and forth, is the endorsement good? Is it not? Boy, it's been performing pretty well lately. So I wouldn't question that necessarily, but you're really starting to see like both sides of people come out and tell you one way or the other. I think it's still too early to know exactly how things are going to play out with the primary in August. But yes, yesterday he announced, President Trump announced his endorsement of John James. Stand by, folks. Hang on, back on the air.
Today, the crown of Independence Day weekend for years has been the Living in Freedom event at New Chapel. Hey, it's Justin Barclay. This year, July 5th, their Freedom Carnival event will be bigger than ever with more thrilling carnival rides, games, giant inflatables, free hot dogs for the family, food trucks, a car show, and giveaways, including kids' bikes, kayaks, a premium shotgun, and so much more. The best part, it's all free. Fun for the whole family. A quarter-mile west of Alpine on 4 Mile. Living in Freedom, July 5th. Get all the details at newchapel.com/freedom.
Set Wood Radio is a preset now on our iHeartRadio app. Powered by Michigan Auto Law. Auto accident attorneys. Visit autolaw.com.
That's autolaw.com.
Some good news before we get out of here. We got a big after show we got to get to as well. And by the way, if you want to see that video, it's just astounding, miraculous what they were able to do with those conjoined twins and the AI. All the stories that we talked about today can be found over at the stack at justinbarclay.com. In the meantime, checking the markets. Things are down just a tick. Stocks tumbling on global chip rout, according to the headline on CNBC. NASDAQ off more than 1%, led by Micron. Those big tech chips, et cetera, they're always going to be part of that roller coaster ride up and down. But you don't always have to feel it, right? You don't have to feel nauseous when you're on that ride. Some people enjoy it. The people that work with Talon Wealth, no. Because Talon Wealth, it takes a holistic approach. Mike Lester and the team going to make sure you're in good hands, whether you want to retire today, tomorrow, 10, 20 years down the road. Call them today at 616-661-1000 or go online to guardingyournestegg.com. Norm is up next. Good morning, Norm. You're live on West Michigan Live.
Hey, good morning, Justin. I'm a true fan. I'd like to say thank you for all you do. I'd like to give a congratulations out there to Chief Trigg. I hope he does a great job, which I believe he will. Now, I'd like to touch base about the gas prices. And I know you have, and I've listened, but we're so easy to say, to make excuses like the global market and now the 60-cent swing. Why can't we call it what it is corporate greed?
Well, I will tell you this, and Norm, I totally feel that frustration. But what I said earlier, and what I know it doesn't make it feel any better, but what I said earlier, when we're paying the lower prices, like $3.50 something I paid the other day, they're breaking even, or in fact taking a loss to get people inside on the gas, to get people inside the grocery stores or the convenience stores. So
Justin,
that's not greed.
It's not.
Not when they're taking a loss. No. But well, look, I get it. I get it.
When the war started in Iran, they didn't hesitate to jump that gas up $1 a gallon.
Yes, I agree with you there. I think that price went up much quicker than it should have. And Norm, I wish I had more time for you. You've held and you've waited. You've been so patient. Hang on the phone. I want to make sure I give you something for all your patience, and thank you for your support. Get his info. I want to make sure we take care of him. All right. The good news, I didn't get a chance to get to it, but they've arrested 5 at the reflecting pool. The find out era is in full effect. And I want to get to this story. Some of the stories we missed today up on the stack at justinbarkley.com, but we'll do them next in the after show, the show after the show. You can follow us over at iHeartRadio app or wherever you download your podcast. We wishing you the best. Glenn Beck program next. Make it a great one. God bless.
Our Father, who art in the heavens, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread. Forgive us our trespasses, we forgive those that trespass against us. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. God is the kingdom, power, and glory forever and ever. Amen. Amen.
WOOD Grand Rapids, WOOD FM Muskegon. The news is next on Wood Radio.
An iHeart radio station.
Guaranteed human.
Pickleball is on the rise. 46.8 million players nationwide, with a projected $5 billion industry by 2033. Looking to be part of this exciting?
There's just never enough time. No matter what we do, there's just never enough time. I will say there are moments like when the war broke out that I think prices may have jumped too quickly in some of these places. I think some of that's uncertainty. Some of it might be opportunism by a few of them. So I give you that too. But boy, when you think about that, it's just so sad to think about. But it is possible. As far as how it's working now, I'm not exactly sure, but I will tell you. I think I'm more concerned less with what the private companies are doing, the gas station owners, and more with what our politicians are doing. In a state to our south, Indiana has wiped about $1 in taxes off of their taxes for folks at the pump per gallon because they acted. In Michigan, we can't get our act together. That's what I'm more concerned about. They did it to help the citizens of their state to make sure that they weren't hurting through the summer. And what did Michigan do? Nothing. We got a governor who doesn't care. He's not going to do anything. All right, let me get to this after show. Let me click a few buttons and we'll get it going. Stand by.
Get ready to strap in. It's going to be a heck of a ride. It's like drinking from a fire hose. Never a dull moment, but yes, you'll hear the stories you won't hear anywhere else, and we appreciate you being here with us for them today. I'm Justin Barkley.
Yeah, welcome to the after show, the show after the show. That's how we call it, the after show. Never a dull moment, never enough time, no matter what we do to try and get to all the stories that matter most. But that's why we're here with you today. Hey, the America 250 gear is here. Thank you for support. Whether you watch, whether you share the program, or whether you decide to buy something cool from our sponsors, or maybe even some of the America 250 gear inside the store right now. JustinBarclay.com/store. JustinBarclay.com/store. You want to get in and find some cool stuff. My Pillow right now, fantastic deals as well. You know, look at what's happening with My Pillow. They've got an America 250 deal that you just can't miss. 50% off on some of the mattresses, which are incredible. The coffee, which I love and drink every day. You got to love that. And pillows. What Mike is known best for. MyPillow.com or MyStore.com/Justin and Maha Missy and the team. HealthWithJustin.com. It's time. Lock it in, your health, and do it now. I know people have talked about, well, I finally got up the courage to call. Do it. Call Missy and the team today at 269-964-4044 and find out how they can help you. I think it's not just weight loss. It's health from the inside out. It's an inside job. At a cellular level, you're going to be feeling and experiencing so much better, experiencing life in a different way. We've seen people get off of their medications. We've seen people get off of their sleep apnea. We've seen people who have incredible, I'll tell you, I'm one of them. Down another, 40 pounds, my wife too. But I have so much more energy than I ever had before. That makes a difference when you're not all of a sudden hitting a brick wall. You get up in the morning and you feel great because you slept great, and it's all because you're healthier. Join us in the Maha Mission, healthwithjustin.com, or call 269-964-4044. But do it today. Missy will be back with us tomorrow for another big Maha update. Speaking of updates, the fool around find out era is here, and they found him. They found him. Over $1 billion in fraud from the American people. Over $1 billion, this guy. Of $1 billion. Your money. My taxpayer dollars. Again, talk about price gouging on that. I'm more concerned about things like this. Yeah, those things can happen, but can you imagine $1 billion this guy made off with?
Second most wanted fraudster. He's allegedly behind, listen to this, a $1.2 billion Medicare conspiracy, billion with a B. White House officials praising the anti-fraud task force's role in making this bust.
This is why this task force was so important, because it has focused all of the resources of the federal government on doing this. The Biden administration could have gotten him. They found plenty of time to arrest people playing outside of abortion clinics, but instead they let this guy run away with all of his money outside of the country.
And David Spun is joining us live from Washington with the latest on this. David, DOJ has been busy making these busts.
The department really has, Bill. This capture is part of that administration's approach to highlight fraud. Sure, other Justice Departments in the past have caught fraudsters and did it for decades, but this time the FBI and DOJ put together a most wanted fraudster list with 8 people. 2 are already in custody in just 3 weeks. Herbert Kimball joins the list of those captured after he was taken down in the Philippines. According to authorities, he targeted the Medicare system to the tune of $1.2 billion. Investigators say he operated a sophisticated call center operation, and his conspiracy involved orthopedic braces and billing Medicare. He operated in the Philippines, where he was picked up after fleeing the U.S.
I'm sorry, what? Orthopedic braces, $1 billion. How do we not have a better handle on the money? I tell you, they don't care. They don't care. These politicians don't care. Democrats certainly don't care. A lot of these NGOs, a lot of these people that are making off with this money, they're putting it right back into the coffers. Right back into the coffers of some of these Democrat politicians. In fact, I think I saw Just the News on this the other day. And John Solomon's done done fantastic work on this, by the way. But I think I saw an announcement effectively. This was the Ukrainian Zelensky. debacle. And they've now shown, okay, that apparently there was, and I think Tulsi Gabbard released some of these details on her way out the door. But Zelensky, there was a plan. Not only did they have biolabs in the Ukraine, of course we know that, but we also know now he was stealing about $200 million. Oh, this brings me to another point. It's the USAID, the money that they shut down, President Trump shut down. It's another interesting sort of tidbit on this I'll get to after this, but here Sullivan talks about $200 million stolen, your money. And what did Zelensky, what was he going to do with it? Here's how the scam worked.
The United States government, the National Security Agency, intercepted conversations of President Zelensky's government in Ukraine in 2022, late 2022, conspiring with federal workers at the USAID to come up with a plan to take $200 million of USAID money. That is your money, folks, taxpayer money, route it through a series of transactions, move it into the United States, and launder it into Joe Biden's 2024 campaign and the Democratic National Committee. We have the intercepts for the first time. Tulsi Gabbard's team was willing to declassify them. There is now an investigation underway, beginning with USAID, to look at who was involved, whether any crimes were committed, and if that is the case, to refer that to the FBI in the next few days. Those declassified documents up at justthenews.com. You can go check about it today. Members of Congress have been...
By the way, did you notice this? There was another big election happened over the weekend, and this sort of quietly went under the radar. I don't know if I mentioned it yesterday. It was in my stack. And you certainly saw it if you went to check out the stack. But I did mention the election. I don't think I mentioned this part of it, which is none of these, after they shut off the USAID spigot, none of these elections in Latin America have gone the way of leftists. They've all gone to the right. I'm sure that's just a coincidence. That's probably just a coincidence. So now you see, when you start to like add in how the game works and what the real story is, you start to sort of get a little bit better of a picture. The fraud and how bad things really are. In Illinois, they hired an illegal alien as a high school teacher. I guess this is something they do all the time now. She has ties to Tren de Aragua, that Venezuelan gang. How do we know that? She's been arrested, not just for being here illegally, not just for her ties to Tren de Aragua. It's what she did with the gang that she got caught for. Busted for I think it's a triple murder she was involved with. Take a listen to this.
National helped two alleged members of the violent Tren de Aragua gang acting as a getaway driver after a deadly house party shooting that left 3 people dead.
The 2 alleged gunmen have since been deported, but critics say Chicago's sanctuary policies allowed the suspect to slip through the cracks after local authorities...
By the way, it's not far from us. This is Chicago. It's not far from where I'm sitting in Michigan. A teacher, part of the Tren de Aragua gang, illegal immigrant, teacher in Chicago, driving the getaway car in a triple homicide.
He's released her from jail without notifying ICE.
Wow.
Border czar Tom Homan joins us in moments on this.
But first, senior correspondent Mike Tobin is reporting live out of Chicago. He's got the exclusive for us. Mike.
And Sandra, Immigration and Customs Enforcement now has in custody this former Illinois high school teacher who they say assisted a Tren de Aragua mass shooting, and it gets more complicated from there. Giovanna Mercedes Moreno Ochapinte, 32 years old, first entered the U.S. in October of 2021 with the visa waiver program, but she was supposed to leave January 2nd, 2022, and she overstayed her visa. Skip forward to December 2nd, 2024, when the Department of Homeland Security says she drove 2 gunmen affiliated with the Venezuelan gang Tren de Aragua to a house party in the Gage Park area of Chicago, where they allegedly opened fire. 3 people were killed, several others injured. Federal authorities say Moreno Ochapinto also helped the gunman flee the scene. Ochapinte, I should say. The 2 men she allegedly drove to the scene also helped the gunman flee the scene. Ochapinte, I should say. The 2 men she allegedly drove to the scene and helped escape, Ricardo Grandillo Padilla and Edward Martinez Cermeno, have both been arrested and deported. Chicago police arrested this former teacher December 5th, 2025. Federal authorities say she had weapons in her car at the time of the arrest.
Unbelievable. Weapons at the car at the time of the arrest. This is who they got teaching your kids over in Chicago. Unbelievable. Can you wrap your head around that? Well, the Find Out era is here. That's why you got to be brain dead, by the way, to do this sort of thing. But they are now arresting. I think they've got 5, and they've got an investigation going on with another 5 people tampering with the reflecting pool. Here's another guy going away in handcuffs, messing with the reflecting pool.
Why do you do it? I was yelling at the Oklahoma State troopers. Why? I was yelling at them. I know, but why were you yelling at them? Because they're here. But the Oklahoma State troopers. I know, but why would you be yelling at them? Like, just because they're here? No. I'm just trying to have a better understanding. Lick the boot. If you love the boot, lick it.
Yeah, sure. That's all he was doing. Just yelling at people. That's all. How about this woman? They all say that too. They all have the excuse. Hey, and he goes, if you love the boot, lick it. Lick the boot. That's the fascism comment thing. Well, dude, if you're so anti-fascist, just tell us what you were doing. Tell us you were messing with the pool. Just admit it. No, can't do that. Here's another woman. They caught her. The guy walking up to her, I think he's with the Parks Department. They got all these guys out here. Look at him videotaping her. Look at him talking to her. Yeah, you can't do that. She was probably videoing her own stuff. He's got her on video now. Look at this. Here comes the find out moment. Unbelievable. Here comes the National Guard. Oh, and the guy's with the guard. She's going to say, I wasn't doing anything. I wasn't doing anything at all. Here it comes. Now come the tears. The crocodile tears. This is absolutely insanity. The amount of hate you have to have in your heart to want to mess with the reflecting pool because you hate Trump so much. It's absolute insanity. And again, 5 now confirmed arrested. More being, as we speak, investigated. And these people are going to learn a hard lesson. You could get up to 10 years for this. 10 years. Now she's talking to the police. Oh, boy. I didn't do anything. I didn't do it. I don't know what ended up happening with her or not, but it seems like there ought to be a solution to this because even 10-year prison sentence isn't going to keep some of these yahoos out. Adam Carolla thinks he's got the answer.
The reflecting pool. Have you seen people vandalize? Trump saying people are cutting it open with knives.
Well, I mean, obviously, he can activate anybody. If he told people he liked mangoes, they would declare war on mangoes the following day. So
If you told people oxygen was good for them, they would stop breathing. That's how crazy these people are.
Obviously, he can weaponize anybody just by saying he wants something or likes something. So the idea that these people are all environmentalists as well, who are there trying to pollute the pond, is kind of insane.
Yeah, we saw up.
They should put a few gators in there. Put a few gators in there. Let's see if they can clean this up.
There you go. Take the alligator Alcatraz. Because I remember I saw a lot of whales wash up dead from the windmills they were putting, and no one cared at all.
No, they're very selective. And they never do anything. I mean, think about the land acknowledgement before the library, right? They make the acknowledgement, and then they keep all the land, and they never give anything back to the indigenous people. And it's like the bumper sticker in front of the Teslas. Remember they put the bumper sticker on the back of the Tesla? I got this after Elon or before Elon went crazy. They don't turn the lease in. They just put the bumper sticker on and make the land acknowledgement.
That's right. They're keeping it, and they're playing basketball on it.
It's just so funny. Alligators, maybe some gators in the reflecting pool. I don't know about you. I can't imagine what these people, like the levels, depths of insanity. By the way, President Trump talked about this yesterday. Briefly, he talked about what a difference things make in this administration and what a difference a brain makes. In fact, listen to his commentary live from the Oval.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you. What's the latest you've heard from the Vice President? Are you happy with his negotiations?
Yeah.
And can you share a little bit about what Secretary Rubio will be doing in the Middle East this week?
I think that they're doing a fantastic job. Our secretary is fantastic. I think he's maybe going to go down as the best ever. And I thought J.D. Vance this morning was fantastic. I watched his news conference, and from Switzerland, he's a very smart guy. He did a great job. You know, when I look at the Democrats, I call them the Democrats. They're dumb, the Democrats. When I watched that, where one of them thought it was World War XI. She said World War XI. She read World War II. You know about that, right? This is one of their potential leaders, Ilhan Omar, who married her brother to get into the country, by the way, illegally. But when I watch AOC, have no idea on a simple question, what happened when she was over in Switzerland, which she probably never went there before, but she was. And then I watch somebody like JD or Marco. I said, what a difference. What a difference. What a difference a brain makes.
What a difference a brain makes. President Trump in the Oval dropping bombs yesterday. Speaking of which, reality bombs, some truth bombs. There seems to be this question on what's going on with Iran and how they want. Like, it's wild to watch, but it's American media companies are repeating propaganda straight out of Tehran, which is interesting in itself. But he fires back, talking about how the military is completely just.
Their Navy is gone. Their Air Force is gone. Their leaders are all dead. Their whole country is a mess. Their economy is shot. The Times, the fake New York Times said, oh, it's about the same as it was 4 months ago. No, 4 months ago they had a Navy, 159 ships to be exact. It's gone. The whole Navy's gone. Their 250 airplanes, all gone. Their anti-aircraft is gone. Their radar is gone. These guys love radar. Their radar is gone. Everything's gone. Their leaders are gone. Their whole country is gone. And the Times said, oh, they're about the same as they were 4 months ago. Their Navy is gone.
You really, I mean, there's the only way to like really understand that and what he's telling you is the truth is that this weekend they issued a statement. In fact, the IRGC on radios told tanker ships and whatnot, we're the thing is done, to close the Strait of Hormuz. And they weren't able to actually close it. More oil came through than ever before on that one Sunday you mentioned earlier. Can you imagine? So if and they don't have any cards left. Now it's just all this, when your kids are sort of fighting and they're just whatever it is, they're throwing a fit and they're just having a moment. They just keep sort of flailing, but they're almost out of gas, and you can see it coming, and it's all over but the shout. And that's where we are with Iran. That's where we are. The levers have been pulled. Everything's done. And essentially we're just waiting to this whole thing sort of wraps up, and God willing it will. But anybody that says that Iran won this war is completely out of it. They've lost all touch with reality. Just look at the facts. You want to see something cool? We're starting to see pictures. In fact, this weekend, Trump did something else that nobody's really... We haven't covered a lot of it either. The brand new Air Force One.
Yeah, he's lined up for a landing.
It's been unveiled, painted, gorgeous inside and out. A new color scheme, and some folks are getting huge video. That is absolutely gorgeous. The brand new Air Force One has been unveiled, and there it is, flying in the sky. Just something else. Beautiful inside and out, by the way. Just gorgeous. You want to see some more of these? Because they're not the flights, but the inside. I've been watching some of these. By the way, Margot Martin, if you don't follow her, she's with the president like almost 24/7. Okay, and she's got the camera on her phone, and she gets all these amazing videos and pictures of the president doing different things. Here's one from the White House. I don't know if you've seen this one. This is from the White House account itself. Here he is. I just love that. It's gorgeous. It's gorgeous. There's no sound to it, guys. It was just music. That there's no talking. But absolutely just gorgeous, that thing. I don't know what to tell you. It's just I've never seen the inside is even better. That color scheme. I don't remember why we had what the previous color scheme was, like what the symbolism of it was. But just take a look. Here's hard to know if this is real or AI, but I think here it is on the ground. Okay, I want to show you if I can find the inside. Because the inside, the old Air Force One was super dated, right? But the new one on the inside looks incredible. And yes, a lot of people are making the point that the new Air Force One colors look a lot like Trump Force One. It's true. They kind of do, don't they? Not completely, but yeah. A little bit in some ways. But these colors, I think, do it so much better. Okay, here's one of the rooms. It's like a meeting room. This is one of the rooms. I got to find a few more. Look at that. That is gorgeous inside. That's the new Air Force One. I don't know if they're flying it yet with the president. I It'll be interesting to see how soon they do, because I don't know if but it's completely updated, state of the art, absolutely gorgeous. And I know if I find some more of these photos or videos from inside, I'll make sure I share those with you. I'll put them up on the stack too. But this is something that is a thing of beauty. It's a work of art. I know the old one was a sort of iconic, right? That was the old way of doing things. But this one is completely upgraded, and it was time. It was time. And I'm glad he got to do it, because we got somebody with some taste overseeing that project. All right. If I find more interior photos, I'll make sure I get those. One other thing I got to share with you, by the way, if you haven't clicked share yet on this broadcast, make sure you do it. You're going to get in the running for something cool from inside the Justin store, justinbarkley.com. Tees, hoodies, we got mugs and tumblers and more. America 250 gear here too as well. If you haven't done it, make sure you go ahead and click share. But I got to show you this first, because this is so cool. What you're about to see. Where's the Coke button on the plane? That's good, Jessica. I don't know the Diet Coke, but where is that thing? Where is the Diet Coke button on the plane? I'm sure they'll have one for him. Trust me. This happened, I think, yesterday. One of the coolest things you'll see all day. French fighter jets flying overhead in Washington, D.C. And look at the red, white, and blue smoke coming out of the tails. That is amazing. And, of course, it's all part of the America 250 celebration, the upcoming anniversary of our independence. And I can't think of a better way to celebrate and to get the wraps on the show today. God bless you, and God bless America. The red, white, and blue. Thanks for joining us each and every day. We appreciate you being here with us to give us the support, the latest on this. Always appreciate you being here with us. Congratulations to Don for sharing the project and show today. Of course, you help us break the algorithm. We appreciate your support. Don is our winner. Don Toom, our winner today in the Sharing is Caring contest. Thank you so much for being here with us again. Make it a great one, folks. God bless.